Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, FD for SageFact.tv. So in this video, this is just a monologue, but I would like to have this monologue in front of you guys, and then you can comment and tell me what you think. This relates to what's been happening with the Donald Trump administration in the US, and this relates to crypto. So as Donald Trump being a net gain to the ecosystem, I think he's coming with a lot of baggage. First off, it's his family. So I think that's been a lot of baggage. So what I want to do during this video, guys, is try and share with you why I think crypto will have failed or may have failed if certain things have been introduced into the markets or into the ecosystem, or certain things have not been done, or things we're expecting have not come through. Crypto will have failed, including Bitcoin will have failed as well. But before I proceed, guys, please know that this is, like I said, is a monologue. These are just my own opinions. They are not factual. If you want factual advice or anything, please go to someone who's actually trained and is an expert in this field. I'm just some dude on the internet. This is not financial advice, and do your own research. So let's come back to my thoughts as far as the US administration is concerned. First off, the fact that they made moves to try and make crypto adoption real, I think that's good because of what they've done with the SEC and the other organization as well. I think CFTC or something like that, that regulates commodities. I think that has been positive, and also Donald Trump actually, championing the adoption of cryptocurrency. That's what you want. That's leadership to an extent. What's not good though is the corruption around all this, or presumed corruption, because I think there's quite a lot of it happening from insiders just doing all sorts of things, trading on real data or information that they know and the market doesn't know. We had that with the Trump coin. I think the insiders, they made a killing in recent times. I will call it what it is. I think the abduction of the Venezuelan president, I'm not into politics, I think someone made a killing on that because they went on to Polymarket and opened a new account, freshly funded, and they made a bet. And that bet, they made, from what I understand, quite a bit just by doing that. So that is one of the things that I dislike about the baggage that surrounds Donald Trump, even though what he's been doing is great. Then we go on to his meme coin. I don't think if you wanted to convince your critics that you are doing this for the right reasons, that was not the way to do it, because now people will just say, okay, he did this to line his own pockets, because with the evidence in front of us, who can dispute that? I think that is what has actually happened, where his family are all in it. They're swimming and sinking in crypto. They're making a killing, and they're leveraging their father's position as the leader of the largest economy in the world. I think this is corruption on a different scale from our point of view, because right now, if he's doing that and he's making decisions that is lining the pockets or benefiting his family, what do you call that? I don't know. Those who are, experts in the English language, you can tell me what is the description of the term corruption when this is happening. I mean, it's conflict of interest. That's how far I can go. But to come up with strong words like corruption, I'll probably need experts to help me with that. So I think that is not helped. And then we also have some of the big accounts when it comes to Twitter or even on YouTube, big podcasts or big creators. Yeah, I'm talking of people who cheerlead whatever is being done. They see Eric Trump on TV. Oh, Eric Trump has said, what the hell, man? So what? He's a non-entity. He's not an expert in... You cannot make an investment decision based on what's coming out of Eric Trump's mouth. What has he actually done that makes him an expert in crypto? People, you need to pat down a little bit, because you look like lunatics. You look like idiots. Please. Oh, Cathy Wood, you said X, she's bullish. And so, I think that's the problem in crypto. If you are relying on moves, whether on Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, on the likes of Charlie Lee or Cathy Wood or Eric Trump or whoever for the price to go up, or then, guys, we are still gambling, okay? We are not doing ourselves any good. We are not anchoring ourselves. We are not trying to help the market here. We are just promoting and perpetuating the gambling attitudes that we try and run away from meme coins, because that's what happens. If Murad says something about his bag of meme coins and prices go up and stuff like that, that's what you are doing. You're trying to pump the value. That is not sustainable. People like that, I think they're just after pumping their bags and sell on the heads of their community. They're trying to extract value from that. Because what else is driving you? Parroting that Eric Trump has said X on video, whatever. The guy knows nothing. You can tell from the way he's speaking. It's anger. I don't know what the anger is. Just anger issues. There's nothing there. Anyway, those are just my opinion. You guys, YouTubers, leading X accounts, you need to refrain from doing this. This makes us look like a joke. There are people who are looking at this who are not involved in it. You're deep in the trenches and you come up with something like this. You need to self-reflect and have some self-awareness. What you are saying, does it make you a good person or it makes you look like an idiot? So I've had some characters who fell and they never got back because they thought what they were doing was right, because they lacked self-awareness. Because if you think what you're doing and you're not self-aware of the impact and how the world and the public sees you, man, you may never come back from this, okay? There are certain people who are involved in certain things at the moment. As soon as the rug is pulled under their feet, yeah, I'm talking of, say, political level, as soon as the rug is pulled off their feet, they will never have a career, okay? They will never have a career because they're a joke. Yeah, I've said enough on that. So I think YouTubers, you need to be more responsible and you need to have some self-awareness. What you are saying, does it make sense? What you are championing, is it sustainable? Right now, we are running the risk that if something changes in the US, say the Republicans lose the midterms and Trump gets impeached and that impeachment is successful, the crypto market will dump like crazy. I can tell you that, because the other side will actually be wanting to get one over the Trump administration and the members of his administration. There is going to be a lot of chaos, and they may actually reverse some of the things that have happened that I was saying were good for crypto. So we need to be careful what we wish for, and when things are not right, I mean, we need to show that we are mature enough, we are responsible, we are adults. If things are wrong, I don't care whether the person who is doing those things supports my bag. You need to criticize them. If it's not good, tell them this is not good and so forth. If you are just supporting someone because it pumps your bag or it supports your personal cause or your company's cause, like, I mean, if Brian Armstrong, for example, if he's lobbying just to benefit Coinbase, that's not good. He's got to lobby politicians so that it benefits the whole ecosystem. That way we are stronger together than, because Coinbase on its own will not save us, you see. But if the whole industry move together in lockstep, then we may actually have a chance. It doesn't matter whether it's the US or UK or in Europe or China or South Korea. We need to move along together. Then you have these institutions and ETFs. Yeah. So we actually open the door to, it's good, there is more liquidity, but we open the door to vouchers who can create paper Bitcoins, paper Ethereum, and paper whatever you want to call it, and trade on that or sell those paper coins. They could multiply them by a ratio that suits their agenda. And by doing so, we've almost sold our soul. So I think to an extent, you'll turn around and say, I think ETFs have actually exposed the weaknesses of Bitcoin as a vehicle to transfer or move value or share value, whatever you want to call it. Bitcoin has been exposed, and the way things are going, because Bitcoin is relying on speculation and sentiment, it doesn't have anything in it, you know, relying on people buying your bags, because Bitcoin doesn't do anything. You could turn around and say it, to an extent, if it were cheap enough, it would have done well, because it's being used as a gas token, is people build on it and people actually use it and stuff. Yeah. So I think Ethereum has got some staying power within it. People will be laughing at me and say, yeah, you're saying that, but Bitcoin has been, yeah, I understand that, but the bigger picture here is pointing at Bitcoin needs a lot more than just speculation and sentiment, okay? And just hyping it up so people can buy off. What is it actually doing? That's what you need to ask yourself. If you look at silver and gold, yes, both have got real world use cases, but silver, its rate of increase was steep. Why? Because silver finds itself being used in so many applications. Gold, limited applications, but silver in so many applications. And that is the same with crypto, okay? Bitcoin, it's got some rich people who can lobby, you know, politicians who can lobby institutions and stuff, okay? Because say it's a toy for people who are already rich. I mean, we used to have that with Ethereum during the gas wars of 21, where people who were rich enough were happy that Ethereum gas fees were crazy because they could afford it. And they didn't want anything else. They wanted that to stay the way it was. They didn't want it to even go to proof of stake because they wanted to keep benefiting it. That's where we are with Bitcoin as well, where the early entrants just want more and more. They want to mop all the cash, all the liquidity. They want all that and they want nothing else. But if you actually start creating blockchains and coins that actually are used in the real world, things may change. So because of that, I think crypto and Bitcoin, they failed to an extent. I don't think we've won. I think where things are heading, we're just replacing TradeFi with something else that is on a blockchain, but the principles and the concepts are the same, because you are just going to have, instead of them being the big boys, you're going to have another group of big boys controlling what's on the blockchain. I think that's what's going to happen, but that's not what I think mission of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was from the beginning. I mean, you could say you want to be a purist. There is no place for purists in the real world, but those are just my own opinions, guys. I think we could do better as an ecosystem. Investors, developers, hedge funds mostly, institutions and stuff. I think we can do better, but the way things are going at the moment, especially with Bitcoin, and yeah, I think the way things are going at the moment is, I don't see it. I mean, look at what happened with AI. Someone who actually said, nailed it, because they said, look, I can use ChatGPT, I can use this, I can use that, and I don't need a coin, I'm using fiat. Now, show me some cryptocurrency project that has actually managed to achieve that, where people actually actually use it without knowing they are using it, or they actually go there because they want to use it. That's what we need in crypto. The ChatGPTs, the Geminis, the clouds and stuff. That's what we need in crypto, so that we can actually say, okay, this is revolutionary. Right now, just copy and paste. We're copying what's in TradeFi and bring it in, and sometimes amplifying it by huge margin, which is not good. So that's my monologue, guys. I think we've got a long way to go. I think crypto has failed because we are just giving into TradeFi, and the TradeFi itself is not giving up. They are dictating how things should be run. They don't want stablecoin providers to start sharing returns or revenues with their investors or their communities. What is that? We were not involved in them setting up the banking system, and now they're coming into our ecosystem trying to tell us, no, you cannot have that because we don't want you to, because if you do that, we are going to lose out. That's the whole point. It's competition, open market. You don't like it, you adapt, So yeah, there's so much to say about this, and we still have a lot of friction because on ramps are not working. They got certain countries that are still struggling. People in certain countries, you got a Visa, someone has got a Visa, MasterCard, but with the same card, you can't interact with an exchange or buy something using your card because that person is in the wrong country. That is just stupid. Why are we doing this? We need something that actually replaces these two, your MasterCard, and so that we have something that cuts across national boundaries, national agnostic, for a lack of better word. You want something like that. Okay. Right now we don't have those. How do we make that happen? The first thing we need to do probably for developers, you need to go after MasterCard and Visa and actually make sure that they know they don't adapt, they die. That's what needs to be made clear. Because right now they are just a wolf in sheep clothing. We come to crypto supporting, but they are choosing who must win or who can win and who can't. Why can't it be open to everybody? If it's open in the States, make it open across the world. Open in Europe, make it open across the world. Not what they're doing at the moment. Anyway, that's my rant, guys. I think you still got a long way to go, and mass adoption won't happen as long as we keep walking along the same lines as TradeFi. We need to pivot away from there. How that's going to happen, I don't know, because everyone is after their own self-interest. No one is actually opening up and thinking, let me do something that is good for humanity, full stop. Because even all the blockchains, how do you have a blockchain that is competing to be made in America? That is all crap. That's not what it should be. You should have a blockchain that says, look, where the founders or where the DAO or foundation is based shouldn't matter. It should just be, it's a blockchain and it's open for everybody. You can invest, you can withdraw funds, you can do this, you can do that. Regulations are there because there is a weakness somewhere. That's why the people put regulations in. If they remove them, someone will lose power. That's what they don't want. And look what's happening in the world where now we're having the powers that be. They can wake up today and say, I'm going to take that country because I want their oil. In the past, people at least used to hide it or say something that they didn't mean. Now they actually mean what they say and do what they mean. They no longer hide it. That's the world we live in. So crypto, we can do better. Please do better. Let's all do better. Until the next one, guys, FD for SageFactor TV. Signing out for now. Bye.